Hello substreamers and welcome back to Substream News, your fast track to the weird, the wonderful, the wild and of course the futuristic. Now I'm Joseph, this is Substream News. Today we're diving into AI blunders, geopolitical rebranding, biohacking antics and a showdown between an oversized rapper and a ride-sharing app. Yes, it's a pretty weird collection of stories, but buckle up because the news just got a lot more interesting thanks to SNN. So if you're not yet subscribed, make sure you do. Smash the like button, the subscribe button and the little bell that dings and does all sorts of magical stuff. Let's get on with our first story. France's latest attempt to, let's say, challenge or tackle English-speaking AI dominance has gone oof the rails. That's a good one. If you don't know, oof means eggs, and that's actually pretty relevant to this story. So meet Lucy, right? Lucy is a French AI chatbot backed by the French government, and it was supposed to be a tech revolution, but it didn't work out like that. It ended up as a bit of a comedy show, let's say. Users quickly discovered that Lucy had some errors in her code, and she gave some pretty unique answers to very simple basic questions, like recommending cow eggs as a healthy snack and claiming that the square root of goat is 1. I don't know how she came to that, but yes, you heard that right. Rewind a sec. Cow's eggs. Yes, apparently Lucy, the French AI, missed biology class and maths entirely. Now, unfortunately, she's been put down. No, sorry, that's a bit dramatic. She's been taken down just temporarily for repairs, not before giving us a good laugh at her expense and France's, thank you. But they may put some doubt into Macron's 54 billion euro AI investment plan. Bon chance. That means good luck. Now, Macron, the president or prime minister, is he president? Prime minister, president. He's currently preparing for the Artificial Intelligence Action Summit, which will be hosted in France, in Paris, in mid-February, and that will bring world leaders and tech figures to the French capital to discuss things like AI. Preparations for the event clearly not going to a plan. Lou, see you in the next story. Let's go. Substreamers, Google Maps is making an update in the US that's got a lot of people talking. It's renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and I think this is a really interesting story. It follows a directive from Trump, of course. During his inauguration, he basically promised to do this, and now he's fulfilling that promise. And he says that it's about emphasizing the American identity. Others think it's nationalism or over patriotism, but I see why he's done it. Now, don't worry if you're watching this from outside of the US, because you probably won't even look there, but you probably won't even notice the difference. It's only for US users that it's going to show up with the Gulf of America instead of the Gulf of Mexico. For users outside of the US, it will show both names, maintaining the balance between local and international perspectives. But of course, it is controversial. It has sparked some debate. Some people have said, is this even necessary? Is this a good use of taxpayers' money? But I say it's not the only part of the story. There's a little twist to it, is that he or Trump's committee, let's say, have also renamed Denali. Now, many of you watching will know Denali, but for those who don't, it's the US's highest point. It's a mountain in Alaska, Denali. But it was called Mount McKinsey, and Mount McKinley. It's going back to the old name. Denali is the native name. McKinley is the colonial name. It's being renamed back to the colonial name. Strange, but, you know, geography in some ways is inherently political, and we try not to take sides. We try not to be political here at Substream News. So let me just peacefully refrain from voting or taking sides and move on to the next story. I have a little favour to ask though first. Would you mind liking and subscribing? If you're not, that is. If you are, Thank you very much. Let's go. You must have heard of Bryan Johnson. This guy is quite unique in that he's a super rich multimillionaire who spends all his time, money, and energy on reversing the effects of aging. He's trying to get younger, and not just in like a cool, hip, like I can hang out with anyone kind of way. He's literally going deep into the science and cellular research and using himself as the guinea pig to do it. Now, if you Google Bryan Johnson, you're going to find loads of stories about all of the weird and wonderful things he's done as part of this. And a lot of people just think he's a total creep. Some call him a vampire. I commend him for being the change he wants to see in the world, because many of us could really do with living out our values and passions and being at the center of them. I think it's a wonderful thing to feel passionately about something and to put all of your time, money, and energy into that. That's commendable, even if a little strange at times. Now, thankfully for Johnson's latest experiment, he's leaving his son out of it. Now, he used to take his teenage son's blood and inject it into himself because he believed those young cells would make him younger. Now, not sure if that works, but he's moved on to a new type of, let's say, age-reversing technology, and it's called TPE, which is total plasma exchange. So he's moved from blood onto plasma, and it's been described as kind of like having an oil change for your body, and it's not cheap. It costs between $5,000 and $10,000 per session, but let me kind of tell you a little bit about what happens during one of these TPEs, not from personal experience because I wouldn't, but from research. It basically replaces your plasma with albumin and immunoglobulin, in hopes of reversing aging and boosting brain function. If you've got loads of money, hundreds of millions or whatever it is that he's got, why not? Give it a go. It might work. It might also give him, how to say it, nighttime erections. This is the weirdest thing, but there's a decentralized betting website called Polymarket where people can make the kind of bets pretty much that you won't find on regular betting websites, and they can make it with each other and people can join the bet like pools, I suppose. And they are kind of obsessed with Bryan Johnson because he shares his biometrics. He's kind of open sourced his own human data, which means you can see when he has an erection. And I just think that's super weird. That's probably not the creepiest thing about him, but it is definitely creepy. Anyway, less about him. Let's move on to the next story. Sorry, that went down a really weird avenue, but that's Bryan Johnson for you. Finally, Instagram has introduced a feature it's been crying out for. Users have wanted this feature for so long, and finally they've got it. It's being rolled out in the US first. It's testing ground, let's say, but it gives users to completely clear the algorithm so they won't be seeing whatever kind of content they had been, whether that's like polarizing politics, weird AI generations, or old dance videos, or people chewing. That's a weird one. Why is that? I get a lot of pimple popping ones as well. There's all sorts of stuff, but your algorithm shows you things it thinks you're going to like. So don't blame the algorithm, blame yourself. But yeah, you'll be able to refresh it back to zero. Then you will be really just seeing random stuff until you rebuild the algorithm, which people call brick by brick, right? Apparently, when doing some research, Instagram found that their algorithms led to mental health problems, especially for teenagers. Teenagers ended up, liking and sharing and commenting on certain stuff that actually made their mental health problems worse. Now, don't blame Instagram if you fall down another rabbit hole of super weird content. It's your own fault, I'm sorry. But if you want to know more, the full article explaining this new feature from Instagram is down in the video description. Of course, we always share all of our links because we want to be good, responsible journalists. While you're down there, you might as well click subscribe. And finally, to finish on a lighter note, but unfortunately, this story is not light. It's very, very heavy. Actually, this story weighs 489 pounds. That's like 230 kilos, about 230 kilos would be my maths off the top of my head. BBW rapper, that's Big Beautiful Woman, Dank DeMoss, she's making waves after suing Lyft. Lyft is a ride-sharing app, for discrimination because a driver told her she couldn't fit in his car. She was just too big. Now, the driver quite fairly apologised and said, I think you should order an XL vehicle instead, which seems very practical. But, of course, Dank DeMoss is not here for practicality. No, she's here to make a statement, get some attention, and build some clout, some social media points in the process. She claimed emotional distress and humiliation over the incident and vows to change the world with her lawsuit. I have absolutely zero sympathy. You can be big, but don't make being big a nuisance on everybody else. If you want to eat yourself to death, that's absolutely fine. I'm not the skinniest guy in the world myself, but I wouldn't make my weight somebody else's problem, and certainly not take somebody to court for accusing me of being too heavy. Come on, lady. Now, whether this does hold up in court or not, there's one thing that may happen is that Lyft drivers might have to start carrying scales or tape measures. A second idea. Now, I did laugh. I did laugh when I saw the comments. The comments on this story, there was one, and I have to share it with you. Don't blame me. They said, thanks to Dank DeMoss, we could see the start of a brand new ride-sharing app for larger people. Forklift. Oh, I like that one. I like that one a lot. It tickled me. But substreamers, that is it. That is your dose of the bizarre, weird, wonderful, tech, futuristic, the whole lot culture. We've covered it all in this video, and I want to say thank you to you for watching, for making it the whole way through. If you've enjoyed the video, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, smash whatever, just keep smashing. Have a smashing day. Have a smashing wonderful week, whatever you're doing. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, stay weird, stay wonderful. This is Substream News. I'm Joseph, and I guess that's it. Signing off. Bye for now.